Hey guys, all the Dark Signs Reptiles, welcome to the lab. We have a controversial subject, so I guess we should just get right into it. Hey guys, if you like this video and you want to see more cool stuff, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. As a reptile breeder, I feel like this topic is kind of taboo and not a lot of people talk about it. I wanted to put in my 2 cents about the topic of when to euthanize and how to euthanize a snake. If you guys have a pet snake, you don't breed any reptile and things like that, you probably won't encounter this situation as often as a breeder does because we're producing so many reptiles. You're gonna hit bad odds with different deformities. Most of the time, deformities are so bad that the snake just dies in the egg. I've had that happen multiple times, or they come out of the egg, but they only last like a day or so, and then they just pass. But there's some times where the snake makes it, and depending on the severity of the issue that it has, you might have to consider actually euthanizing the snake. First, let me show you two differences of snakes with deformities. One that I think will be fine, the other one not so much. Okay, so this little girl right here, I'm calling her Sharky. Right there, really pretty, low white pied. And her issue is she was born with something called shark mouth. That's what her name is, Sharky. So what it is, let me see if I can show you. You see how the upper part of the jaw is a lot longer? There's a gap there. So she has an overbite, and you can see it on the side too. Sorry girl, I'm just trying to teach people things. See, she just has a little derpy look to her. Her tongue also doesn't come out as far as a ball python's tongue should come out, so I don't know if that's causing any issues, but as you can see, she's growing, she's shedding, she's going to the bathroom, all the stuff. There's nothing really else wrong with her. Everything else looks normal. Now, one issue that she does have, though, is that I've been having to assist feed. So she has not taken a meal by herself since she was born. She's about 2 months old now, so I've been assist feeding her the whole time. She'll eat right away as soon as I put the mouse in there. She'll eat it. So, I mean, she's doing fine. So, hopefully, at one point, she will start taking a meal by herself. But for now, she hasn't. Now, I've had issues with snakes having to be assist fed, and eventually they take it. I've heard stories of some snakes just never do, even as they grow. I think that's kind of rare, but we're hoping for the best. But as you can see, she's fine. She can eat. She can pass food through her system. She just needs a little bit of help. Hopefully she'll figure it out. But she's really pretty, so we're keeping her, and maybe eventually we might let her go as just a pet only once she's eating by herself. The rest of her clutch mates were fine, no issues. She, for whatever reason, had that. It could be a million things. It could just be a fluke. Now, let me show you one snake that, from my last clutch, that is not looking good. So here we have a really, really pretty GHI. Great example of GHI. Look at the colors. Now, look at this. That right there is a really severe kink. So what a kink is a part of the vertebrae that has some kind of angle to it. So it's not a normal straight. You can see the little vertebrae. You can see it goes down. You can actually feel it underneath here. It like hits the bottom. So I can feel her vertebrae right here, which is not good, because what that's doing is really pinching that section of the snake. Now, her back end seems to be responsive. Not as strong, but she can move it around and stuff like that. As you can see, it's a little flimsy. The front part of her looks fine. So where her stomach would be, looks fine here. So severe kinking happens again, just like another deformity is common or happen. I've had it happen before. All the snakes that have had it happen before too have died in the egg, and then when I take them out, I notice that they had really bad, kinking. This is the only one that's come out this bad, and it's still fine, like still alive. It's not fine, but it's alive. So my issue with this is I don't think she's going to be able to pass food. So obviously, like I said, her stomach's like right here, and then the waist will be coming down here, and I think she's going to have an issue. I mean, I'm telling you, like, you can feel the bone sticking out there. So it goes like that and then back up. So it was really, really severe, to the point where I think waist is going to get stuck there. She's going to have a hard time going to the bathroom, and what that's going to do is it's going to pinch the food in there, the waste, and it's just going to be toxic to the body of the snake. Won't be able to pass. She'll probably die trying to poop, honestly. She hasn't eaten yet. I haven't fed her anything because of that concern. And after thinking about it, and thinking about just the way that kink is, we're going to have to euthanize her. I don't think she's going to make it through even her first meal, and it's just going to be painful and a horrible death. So we're going to have to put her down. And see, some snakes with kinks do survive. I've seen some that have minor kinks, maybe on the neck and stuff like that. As long as they can eat and pass the food, and it goes through the whole system and comes out the other end, they're fine. Some have kinks at the tips of their tails. There's really nothing there as far as the digestive system, obviously, so it ends right here. But so if that happens, that's fine. But yeah, this one's pretty bad. We got two different cases. One, the snake has a deformity, but should be able to survive. The other one has a deformity and I think is going to suffer, and so we need to put it down. So these are the decisions that you have to make as a breeder. What snakes do you think are worth, and this is going to sound kind of mean, but what snakes are going to be worth trying to keep alive for the sake of the snake, and what other snakes you think are going to be suffering and won't be able to have a quality of life. I think that's the main thing. It's like, is the snake going to be able to do the things the snakes do without any issues? I want you guys to think in your head, where your thinking happens, the difference between a mammal and a reptile. Obviously there's a lot of differences, but the main difference is cold-blooded, right? Not necessarily cold-blooded, but that's what we use. The snake's blood isn't cold. Whatever temperature their environment is the temperature their blood is. So technically that's a wrong term. Unlike mammals like us, who we have an internal system that keeps our temperature. Snakes don't do that. Because of that, they have a really slow metabolism, and that's why they can do a lot of cool things that we can't do. I mean, they can go months without eating. They can, other snakes that can freeze pretty much and then come back to life like the garter snakes do. Because how their system works and everything's slower, conventional methods to euthanize reptiles and mammals don't really mix. For example, your first thought would be, oh, well, you can put them to sleep with gas. Like the way the mice, feeders for the snakes, are put to sleep. They're put in little chambers and with CO2, and pretty much they fall asleep and they die. So that's the most humane way of doing that with rats for feeding snakes. If you do that to a snake, though, it won't be as fast. It won't be as quick because of the slow metabolism. That snake's going to be alive for a long time, and it won't be able to breathe, and it's just going to suffer. So that's a no on the gas for snakes. Another method that I've seen out there is freezing them. Their internal temperature matches their environment, so makes sense. You put them in a cold place, they'll go dormant and eventually just pass. It'll be a little slow, but it won't be painful. Well, that's not the case. Because of their slow metabolism, they'll stay conscious through the freezing process, so they won't die and then freeze. It will be a slow, really painful process. They'll probably still be moving in there. So that's another one. No go on the freezing. That's not humane. Okay, now we get into the a little bit more, I wouldn't say gruesome, but more extreme example. People talk about, oh, you have to cut the snake's head. But we know for a fact that doing that doesn't kill the snake instantly. The snake could still be alive. The head could still be alive, feeling pain for up to an hour even sometimes. So that's a simple one. It just doesn't work. Don't do it. And it's messy. So, okay, so I told you what doesn't work. Now there's two that do work. And so it's up to you kind of what to do. You can take it to a vet, and the vet can do it. You use chemicals in the blood to put the snake down. But even then, it's still not as quick. The way to do it, and you guys are going to be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But it's the most humane way is you have to destroy the brain. You feel like I'm talking about killing zombies, but that's what you have to do. You have to do it quick and do it fast and destroy the brain. Snake's dead. No suffering, just instant death. And so the easiest way to do that is to smash the head with a hammer. I know, it sounds horrible. And this is why a lot of people don't talk about this. I've had to do it once. I'm going to have to do it again. But always, if you don't feel comfortable, you can do the whole thing and take them to the vet. I'm not saying you have to do it this way, but this is what I do. It's the most humane way of doing it. And I think a lot of breeders out there will agree with me that smashing the head of the snake is the quickest thing. You put the snake in the bag, you hold the snake in there, and you got to make sure that you just do one hit over the head really hard, and the snake's dead. That's it. So yeah, sounds horrible, but if you guys are thinking of breeding, these are just the things you're going to have to deal with. I know people, I show on my Instagram all the cool stuff, all the nice babies that are hatched and the eggs and all that stuff. And I do show some stuff when babies die and stuff like that. There's this other side that doesn't get shown as much because it does seem kind of barbaric, but it's just the name of the game. And every breeder out there knows what I'm talking about. And at the end of the day, you want the animal not to suffer. You just want it to not to suffer, not to live a horrible life. You think about the animal and is the quality of life going to be okay? And when you decide that no, it's not, and I have to euthanize, you have to do it in a way that's quick and humane for the animal. And that's the most humane way of doing it. So anyway, sorry if I bummed you guys out today with this video, but I really felt strongly that I needed to share. So think twice before you start breeding. I mean, it looks fun, like fun and games, and trust me, I have a lot of fun and it's cool, but I mean, there's stuff you got to do that you might not have the stomach for, and so I'm just letting you know. Do me a favor and subscribe. We'll do more videos like this of things that maybe you don't hear a lot about breeding, and also mostly fun stuff and showing you cool snakes, but we will do some of these videos. So if you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, go watch this video and go watch this playlist of some cool stuff here on the channel. And as always, guys, thank you and hope you learned something new. Make sure you learn something new every day. Have a good day.